Hey guys, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program with Nitro, and we're going to continue here where I left off last time on my career mode, and I'm going to continue to get the science data from around the KSC that I showed you guys in the last video. So we're going to grab all the science data here and see how much science we get overall, and then use that science to unlock some more stuff and complete a couple more contracts. And hopefully we'll get to orbiting today and see what other good contracts we can do in here. I'll probably get a couple of VIP contracts, and I also need to work on upgrading the runway so we can make some planes and just fly around and get some science that way from the different biomes. Which now there's a good reason to do that, because you can just hook the science things onto an aircraft and just fly around, and as you're flying up, or even if you need a precision landing somewhere, it's a little bit easier sometimes, like specifically the mountains. If you want to get out into a safe landing spot on the mountains, I recommend an aircraft with parachutes, because that's how I usually do it. Okay, so I don't think I saved the craft from last time, so we'll just make a new one here. One of the contracts that I did just accept right now is just testing the Mark 16 parachute, which is this little guy here. And it's pretty easy to complete, so we'll probably do that at some point. Put some extra parachutes on here just to be safe. And we're only going a very short distance, so just the little fuel tank. And this is probably way too much thrust, but it'll be fine because we'll land right on top of the rocket engine there. And let's see other science. We got temperature scans we can do, so let's put, actually I'll just put them on either side. Let's make sure we got enough of them, so put 4 on there and that should be good. Oh, I guess maybe wings. Are these too big? Yeah, it's too big. We don't need it. Alright. Let's see. Still got jib. Staging's good. Let's go. So last time I got the science data from up on top of the vehicle assembly building, main building. I don't know if there's one below it. Making sure I got all the science there from the launch pad. So I'm going to try and just land on the other side of the building and see what that gives us. Actually, I could land right in the grass. Yeah. There we go. So let's see what we get here. And so we're going to come down right on the little grass outside the VIB main building. I didn't actually try this one yet in the other career mode that I tried out. So this will be interesting. And that's worth 3 science there. There. So I want to make sure I have a nice soft landing, so let's see. Yep. So the VAB and the VAB building are their own separate biomes, so I didn't really know that before, so that's kind of interesting. So I wonder if that's true for all the other buildings, and especially for the water tower. It'd be interesting to see if the water tower is a thing. Report. So just remember, you can get all this different types of science here from all these different buildings, including your EVA reports and everything else. Although not while flying, so you can't do it while on the ladder, because there's only the major biomes on the planet for that. So keep that in mind. So this will get you a lot of really early science, which I could see being a lot more useful in the harder difficulties where you have science and funding reductions and reputation reductions and everything. So it'd be really useful to get a lot of early science before you try and go like to the moon or Mimas or wherever else. And it might be a little harder to land on some of these starting buildings that you get instead of the upgraded ones because the buildings are themselves smaller. Like the tracking station over there, that might be a little tricky to land on. So let's go for the research and also the research lab because that's kind of weird placement of buildings and whatnot. So we're gonna aim that away. So we'll just do it from the main field area. I'm not gonna try to land up on top of one of these buildings, although we could do it at some point. Make sure. Parachutes take a little longer to open, so gotta be kind of careful. At least more careful than I was previously before the update. Alright, so got that from R&D. Got temperature readings. Do the materials bay. Crew report. And EVA report. I wish I had some ladders right about now so he doesn't have to keep falling. And I did still get a bug that happened at one point when I was trying this in the career mode where I think it was the same bug as last time where after you got out of your ship and he hit the ground and he does the animation to get up, the game crashes or something horrible. Yeah, so there we got 50 science now, so that's pretty good. So we'll be able to get a couple of upgrades with that. And we're not really gaining money, we're actually losing money right now because of the fuel expenditure from parts recovery, because we don't recover 100% of the fuel. But we are getting lots of science, which is always good. Okay, so let's try for... If I go to the tracking station, I'm going to have to be really careful with the takeoff here. And go that way. Towards the tracking station. And there's good. Yeah, landing on top of this little building, although we could do it now, I guess, if I thrusted, but I'll just leave it the way it is. We'll just do the major areas and not try to land up on top of any of the buildings for now. I'll probably do that later. I'm gonna have to do it again anyways once we get the barometer and some of the other science equipment. More of the late game science equipment. But really by that point we won't even need to do this because the science that you get from it's kind of negligible. Like these are low amounts. So by that time it's just more useful to go to like Duna or somewhere. So I believe you can use a barometer on Duna. Alright, yeah, so we'll do, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 plus runway. And I think that's all of them. Other than the buildings, and I don't know about the track that runs up to the launch pad, I don't think that's a thing. Alright, so that's gonna be... I'll thrust a little bit more this way. I think that's the flag down there. Yeah, that's a flagpole. Imagine if you could get a thing from on top of the flagpole. That'd be impressive. I don't think that's a thing. But if it were, it'd be impressive. I don't think it's possible even, because the claw doesn't even claw onto regular stuff on the surface, so I don't think the flagpole qualifies. It's probably like a little flag too. Thrust. Get a little closer to it. It is the Weyland-Yutani flag too, from my sandbox playthroughs that I've used before. I'm gonna try to get really close to it. Come on. Go that way. I've always wanted like a hot air balloon in Kerbal. Something like that. You could just drift around. Alright, so there's our Weyland-Yutani Corp flag. Building better worlds. Like a good space agency should. Alright, so that's from Astronaut Complex. Alright, so now we're going to administration. There, that should do it. Alright. Couple more, and we're good. And if you're not careful with these, you could potentially, I think, hit the building, or if you drop something on the building, it'd blow the building up. I also hope they fix the issue with the launch pad too, where you could launch a big heavy vessel and then have it be unlimited, but instead actually winds up breaking. Ooh, actually, we need to go here first. Kind of a tricky one to get to. So we'll go here, and then spaceplane hangar, and then we'll do one from the runway, or dirt runway. That's a tiny building to try and get something onto. It's got a little itty bitty telescope on top of it. Okay, mission control. I didn't actually want to land up on top of the building. Okay. Now for the runway, it's just easier to build a thing out of the spaceplane hangar and just do the report on the runway, obviously. So we'll do that. Yeah, I'll be fine. Let's see, we need one thermometer reading and one mystery goo. Like that. And yeah, we can't do it the way I thought I could do it. Oh well. We'll just set it down on that, I guess, if that'll work. Oh wait, there we go. Let's see, center mass, and good enough. It's rocket science, I swear. It's how they do it in the real world. Yep, there we go. Alright, good enough from one runway. From runway and temperature. And crew report. Plop. Oh, jib. Alright, there we go. Alright. So there we go, we got all that science from the relative locations around the KSC, and now we can unlock some things. So, because these are 90 each, so I can get a 90 and a 45, or both 45s, but I'd rather get a 90 and a 45. Because with fuel systems, we can at least get into orbit, which is a really big deal for the science and progression. That being said, this has a lot of contracts available for it right now. And there's also this for even more science. We got the barometer thingy, and I think that's it. Yeah. So flight control isn't really that important. Getting struts, however, is. So we'll get the struts, purchase them, and I think fuel systems pretty much. That's the other good one, because I know I can make it. So yeah, we'll do fuel systems. So research and purchase. That eats up our funding. Then contracts, we have orbit Kerbin, test the parachute, and achieve a high speed. So I think we're going to manage to do all three of those in one flight. So let's try and get into orbit here. So we're going to get our little pod, and we'll get a not going to do science yet. We just need to do the contracts, so let's just worry about that. So let's make our capsule here the actual thing that re-enters the atmosphere. I could do thermometer scans though, so I think I will try and do that. I'm gonna put them up high because I think the heat shield actually prevents it from really affecting this too much. I'm not real sure. Oh wait, I have the bay. I'm gonna use the bay. I'm a derp. So I'm not gonna be able to do the materials thing, but I can at least use the service bay. And I think the service bay will be fine because I don't have any control. So the service bay, we'll put our goo. We'll put the goo on the bottom. We'll put the goo right there. Then we'll put a battery just in case right there. And then 2 thermometers right on either side like that. So just like that. Close the bay. And we're good. And to make sure it actually succeeds, you have double parachutes. That should be good. So center of mass, it's a little high. I think it'll be fine. And we need separation. Okay. Fuel. Yeah, I'll use a 215. Actually, yeah, I'll use 215. How much fuel does it take to get into orbit? That's the question. I don't think it takes that much. So I'm gonna go with 4. Man, good enough. Just want to make sure the tanks don't wobble around too much. And put some struts on it. It's better if I do it like this. You can see. And I'm a perfectionist, so let's make them straight. Like a good perfectionist should. Like that. There we go. Alright, that should be good there. We'll grab one more strut on the inside just to stabilize them. And now we can do our fuel. Okay. So hopefully this thing moves into orbit if it wasn't over the darn part count, which it is, so I guess struts are gonna have to go. Let's just hope it holds together. need 4 more. Oh boy. Well, I sure hope it can land on the parachute. And 2 more. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to make this a non-science mission then. So let's just take out that whole bay there, attach that, so we can put 4 more things on it, which are gonna be wings, because I don't want this thing to fly around and explode. Okay, so we're at max part count. I need to upgrade the VAB, obviously. So that is what the issue is. So let's get the staging here. Come on. I was right. Alright, those 2, then these 2, then that one, and then parachute time. Okay, wish Jeb luck. This is gonna be wobbly without struts. Okay, here we go. Alright, we're gonna try for an 80,000 meter orbit. Might have enough fuel to do it. I think I do. And also return. We just barely have to achieve orbit, so don't need to do anything too crazy. Contract that we can complete, though, I believe, in coming back down will be to test the Mark 16 parachute, and we'll also hopefully achieve orbiting Kerbin. Exceeding this speed, I don't know. We'll see. It's a pretty close orbit, so I'm not too sure how fast we'll get to going, but it might be that fast. I don't know. Okay, we're officially in space. Let's get a little closer to the apoapsis, like right there, and full throttle it. Keep an eye on the fuel. Yeah, we're good. Alright, there we go. Good. Contract complete. So we're going to get 61,654 buckaroos, 11 science, 20 reputation. That's pretty good. Alrighty. And we got plenty of fuel. We're not quite to the speed yet, so I think we can hit that speed record. I just need to get the apoapsis up there a little bit higher, and I think we can do it and drop the periapsis down to about 70,000-ish. So let's warp around and keep my fuel open so I can check it here from orbit. Okay, so we're going to drop the periapsis down to about 70,000. Okay. We'll go around this way and see how much speed we managed to pick up here from the orbit. We're probably going to get 2,300, so if I bring this out a bit further, I'm doing pretty good. Okay. Yeah, so we're at 2,300 meters per second. We need to hit 2,500 meters per second. So I'm going to increase apoapsis to, let's try 200,000. That should be good enough. Yeah, good enough. Alright, let's see if we hit that speed record. Yeah, almost. So just about to 2,400. Need to hit 2,500. So 2,400. Hope I don't run out of fuel. I'll just get there with throttling. Almost there. 2,500. Is that one of them? Thought it was. Exceeding 2,500 meters per second. I did that. And we really exceeded 2,500 meters per second. Let's go ahead and land. Using up lots of fuel to do it. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna have to do it at apoapsis. Sorry guys, nighttime landing. Unless I put this down pretty far, but we'll see. Gonna be coming in kind of hot. And it won't be into the ocean either. Okay. Let's see how good this heat shield is. Maybe it'll be in the ocean. Yeah, it'll be in the ocean. By the look of it. And we're out of fuel. Okay. Now it's all up to gravity. Eject to that. And we're good. Because now it's just pure heat shield versus atmosphere. Okay. In the atmosphere, let's make sure we're aiming the right direction. It is a nighttime landing, but the ship will light up quite considerably. And we don't need... Actually, yeah, I'll watch the ablator. Oh, here we go. And make sure we don't flip over. Oh, we're coming in good. Ooh, it's hot. It's very hot. Oh, Jesus. Don't blow up. Okay, good. I don't know if that was good. Oh, no. 15,000, 25,000. No. Oh, well. We'll do that one later. It should give me the speed record there. I don't know if it will or not. Wasn't watching the thing for that. Parachute open faster, please. Okay, there we go. And into the water we go. Yeah, so that heat shield held up pretty good. And there we go. Alright, so we're at 25 science. Got that from parts. XP gained. Did our deal. I don't think I have any debris remaining. Nope. Good. Let's see what else we got here. Alright, yeah, so we did get the record, so now we just have to test the parachute in flight over Kerbin. And other things. Escape trajectories aren't happening. Science data. Oh, okay. That's a pretty simple one to do. Because all you have to do is get up into space. So yeah, we'll accept that one. Okay, how much you cost? 337,000 to upgrade that, which is a bit high. So if we just have to receive stuff from space, we don't need to actually orbit. So we can take all that off. And just go with 2. And I think solid fuel is cheaper. So that costs 1,050. Fuel tank alone is 800 plus engine. Yeah. So we're gonna go with just solid rocket boosters on the side here, since they are nice and cheap. That. Put a couple of wings on here. Maybe 2 of these here. So that's 600 for those and 600 apiece for both of those. That's not too bad. So we're only, so that's 9,000. All right, and we need science data. So let's grab the science bay. And 2 additional parachutes just because we have the science bay on board. And I think that's actually good, the science bay, unless I can put thermometers on it. Can stick a thermometer back here. That should be fine. Alright, part count, 20 parts. So let's put an additional couple of struts on here just to be safe. Let's go here to there and here to there. Okay. So solid boosters first, then that, then eject. Should be good. Do another little launch into space, complete the contract, and also hopefully get the Mark 16 parachute this time. So here we go. Something's bugging out. Not exactly aerodynamic anymore. Please point the right direction. Oh, that's at 215, that's why. It's not a, you need to, like, go the other way. Yeah, aerodynamics are off. Darn it. So, what do you need to do to operate? Let's see. Center mass, center lift is way back there. So, give me these. Put that there. Yeah, whatever. It'll work. Should work now anyway. Do that. Okay. Try it again. Alrighty. So I'm going to keep a little bit of fuel so that way once I hit apoapsis I can actually decrease the arc a little bit here. with the remaining fuel that I have to try and drop us straight down, because I think sometimes the center of mass on the ship is a bit too high, and so as you're coming down through the atmosphere and re-entry, sometimes your ship might flip over and go nose first, and that will certainly kill us. So I'll make sure that doesn't happen, and let's try to land safely here from going up into space. Come on. Declick. There we go. Alright, so we are in space. Materials bay for whatever that's worth, since I guess I already did some space things. I forgot. Temperature reading. Alright, that's new, so we'll keep that. And you can go EVA right now, actually. So EVA report over the water. We'll keep that one. And SAS gets turned off whenever you leave your craft. So we'll go up to Apoapsis and degrade it. Like this. Okay. I'm just trying to find... Here's my retro marker. There we are. And try to come straight down. There we go. Add a fuel. Eject. And now we should come directly down into the atmosphere. There, yeah. Here we go. And keep an eye out for this. So 15,000 to 25,000 meters is the target for the Mark 16 parachute. Your results may vary. I say that because I think this is one of the randomly generated conditions for Mark 16 parachute testing, although I may be wrong. We'll see. And we need to be going 300 to 1,000 meters per second, which we are doing. Going a little faster than 1,000 meters per second, so we need to slow down. And we're good. Our parachute's been tested. So we got that one complete. Oh shit. Are they bad? Oh, they went bad. No. They burned off. Why would you have me test it if it burns off? That doesn't make any sense. Game. Make me so disappointed. Okay, so... ooh, actually, Space Center. Yeah. We can still salvage the situation. So the parachutes do finally burn off and get destroyed upon re-entry like they should, and I guess it's waiting to launch. Yeah, oh well. So, yes. So we'll have to do that over. Which is good, but they didn't a little bit ago, so I think they just patched that in. Because right after the update, I think they did another update where they fixed some of these things. So, to get the Mark 16 parachute data, it's going to have to be sacrificed to the ship. And and we're going to have to rely on these other parachutes in order to land safely. And it didn't before. Like when I first played career mode right out of the gate when it was released in the most recent version 1.0 update, or not the most recent, but in the first version 1.0 update, it didn't do that. You could be moving at re-entry velocities and deploy parachutes and they would survive, but now they don't. So it's a little different, which I guess is good. So there, we'll go up to, should be good enough to get us out of here. It's our altitude, 36,000, and we'll keep going. Make sure we get into space, which, yeah, that'll be good enough. Alright, we're in space. We'll do the materials bay again. Keep data. I already have a crew report. Get the EVA report. Board. Okay. Okay, so now we're good for re-entry. Come down and fire a rocket. Alright, I just wanted to get that out of the way as we come in. So again, 15,000, 25,000 meters, and going slower than 1,000 meters per second. First parachute will deploy, it'll burn up, and then we'll have to wait till we go all the way through re-entry, and then I'll fire off the second set of parachutes, and then we should be good. Hopefully. As soon as it comes up below 1,000 meters per second, deployed and burnt. There we go. Okay, so that one is now complete. Done with re-entry. The ablator did not ablate. That's fine. And fire parachutes. Parachutes are successful. Alright, so the parachutes behave differently now, so you have to be a little bit more careful about how you decide to deploy them. That exploded. There's the KSC right over there. Okay, bring us in. So, lesson learned, I'll plan differently next time, at least for those kinds of instances. Or it wants me to gather science data on something that you need to not die. Which it does have you do contracts for, I think, every single parachute at different conditions. And they're probably the easiest ones to complete because you don't even have to focus on them. They just kind of happen as you naturally play the game, which is nice. And come down in the grasslands here. And boop, there we go. So recover, and we got lots of contracts done. Got some money. Didn't quite get up to 45 science, but that's fine. So 2 contracts, got that, and parachute. Okay, so we got visual surveys, the radial decoupler, landed, and that's probably one that we can just grab. Oh yeah, so we'll just grab that one since that's pretty much the easiest thing in the book to do. Everything else, not so much, so we might have to do some tourists. So suborbital space flights is all they need to do, which is pretty easy to do. Orbit of Kerbin. So we can't really do orbit of Kerbin, but we can do the suborbital space flights later. So we can do these next time. So we'll grab that. And yeah, so yeah, we did that one too. That one's done. TT38K, it's pretty much automatic. So we just need the command pod, essentially, and this thing. So it did say landed at Kerbin, I believe. Don't need any of that. Yep, landed. So just do like that. Launch. And as you can see, we're at Kerbin and we're landed. So all you gotta do, press spacebar. Boop. Complete. And recover. Easiest thing ever. And you get net gain of money out of it. 0 science, although we do have 45 science now, which is kind of weird. Puts us at even 200,000 money. And that's actually recoverable. Although I don't think we get any value out of it for recovering debris. Okay, so we got 45.3 science, which gets us flight control, which is good because that gets us the extra cockpit that I need for the tourists, so we will research that and purchase. Alright, so next on the lines of things to get would be probably aerodynamics, extra landing systems, having RCS fuel is also good, science, don't really need miniaturization, and I can live without solar panels pretty easily, because the only thing that really eats up your power is SAS systems, so as you're orbiting or going somewhere else, you just turn it off and you don't have to worry about it. So you don't really need that, and I'd rather recover all of my science data than transmit it, so I don't really need power for transmitting data either. And this, the hitchhiker storage container, you can now actually, you just put every single tourist that has a destination that they want to go to, and you just put them in there and then just recover that. But to do that, this thing needs to have the re-entry, it needs to have this, so it needs to have the bigger 2.5 meter heat shield. So this is actually the next thing we need to do. There's contracts available for it as well, so we need to try and get more science. But now that we have orbited Kerbin, the next step would be to orbit going around the poles so that we can get all the EVA reports possible and land in various locations and get whatever science we can at the landed location, as well as the EVA report, temperature scan, and the science container thingy from all those different locations. So that will be the goal there. So we got one tourist thing. You're a new one. You want orbit. It's about 10,000. You're the same thing for about suborbital. So I'm gonna do probably suborbital first. Suborbital, orbital, orbital. So that's actually a little bit better. And you can complete these in any way you want and with any crew. So as long as they're all completed, at the end the whole contract will be completed, which is pretty cool. And these all have several days that they can be done as well. I'd rather do the suborbitals first just to grab the money. So we'll accept both of those. And then next time I'll build the ship because I needed to have the extra cockpit, which is why I researched it, because this extra cockpit you just stick right there and then you put your tourist in here. And they should be safe because, and that's the only kind of heat shield I got. So center mass is decent, and you get 2 cockpits, and I think the SAS works for both of them at the same time, so it should be good. And we also have a control module, so I can put that there, and then I can put the 1 parachute on top of that, as well as 2 more parachutes right there, and that should be good enough. Maybe a battery, a couple batteries, and we don't need a battery. Am I kidding? We don't need batteries. Yeah, and that's just suborbital space flight. Yep, Matman. So Matman will be first, and then we'll do Winda. And then Detina. And because they're suborbital, we just need, we don't even need that much fuel. I'll just build the craft for next time that'll launch, and we'll do both of these in. So fuel tank, we'll get one of these. A 200 swivel. And strap on 2 SRBs. Of this variety. I guess I'll strap them onto the fuel tank like that. And let's put a thrust limiter on this of about 80%. Because this is a really lightweight craft, we don't really need it to be at maximum. It'll get up into space just fine. And again, that thrust limiter is something that's kind of new for me to play around with because I haven't really had a need for it previous to the version 1.0 update, but now it actually seems pretty useful because you need to affect the solid rocket booster thrust when you go for takeoff, otherwise they'll be too powerful. Your craft could spin out of control, or it'll go too fast, and then it'll encounter re-entry velocities taking off and then blow up that way, which is pretty incredible if you do it, but don't do it. Okay, we'll put the aerodynamic surface right there, and 2 of these here and here. Oops, come on now. There we go. Alright, center mass, center lift. Good enough. And that should be good. So this is going to be our little tourist ferry for suborbital flight. The wings aren't on quite right. I just noticed that. 4. Thought they were on right. So we put it up kind of high. Alright, there we go. So now the wings are on straight. Okay. And rocket, rocket. Eject. Booster. Oops. Alright, that's 1. That's 2. There we go. And jettison parachute. Okay. So that should be good. That's good for carrying around tourists. So, I don't know. This will just be the saved, oops, the Mark 1. Something simple. It's all I'm going to use it for pretty much, is just ferrying tourists up into suborbital flight. Reasonably cheap, I guess. It could be cheaper, I suppose, but good enough for our purposes. It'll get us up there, get us money, and then come back. We're going to recover some of it because the pod alone, 1,600, another 600 there. So that's over 2,000 plus parachutes, heat shield. We are losing a little bit of money with it, but not too much. Should be fine. I don't know if I can get all the way up into space with just one solid rocket booster. I think with one of the bigger ones you probably can, but I don't think you can on just one. Otherwise, actually that's pretty cheap fuel tank. The engine is not, though. That's the issue. Unless I use the Terrier. Which I won't have a whole lot of thrust if I do use a Terrier, but it does greatly cut down on cost. So, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put the Terrier on here. Doesn't have a whole lot of thrust, but I think it has enough to get the job done. Especially this will get us up into upper atmosphere, I think, and then that's where the Terrier will actually have enough power to push us up the rest of the way, I think. Unless I just went 100% SRB and just strapped these two onto a smaller SRB, and what's that second one? That might actually be a better solution. So I'm going to change this. We're going cheap. Using nothing but solid fuel boosters here. Alright, so we got that. Gonna need the other two here. And aerodynamics. 4. There we go. Okay. Actually, how much do those cost? Those are kind of expensive. So I wonder if we can just get by with very few wings, if any. Yeah. We're gonna need some control, so let's see here. 600, 640. So let's go with tail fins, since they are cheap. And just do that. And pick this whole thing up and flip it. So now we're gonna launch that way. The tail fins will do tail fin things, and it's not a terrible idea to have More control surfaces there. So we're going to cut down on the cost a little bit. So we should be able to get up there with this. And that should be good enough. Alright, so that's Mark 1. We'll launch this thing next time, guys. Do a couple of little tourist missions, and then work on getting over to the moon, and then see if we can get some moon data. I'm probably going to have to do a few missions flying around Kerbin and getting contracts that you can complete from around Kerbin itself, but other than that we should be good. I'm going to put thrust limiter on this thing at 60%, because I don't think we're going to need it going that fast. Save that too. Alright guys, so that's the plan for next time. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Till next time guys, take care.